Hi, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Matt, Christy, Alonso. It's December, and finally, Tenet has come to home video because I wasn't going to go to a theater to see it. Matt wasn't going to go to a theater to see it. Christy, oh yeah, Christy went to a theater to see it. But anyway,
I
we don't
did.
judge. We don't judge.
I was
Anyway.
very careful.
You did all the right. You did all the right things, and look at you. You're still standing, so you know that it worked out okay. But you are going to explain to us what happened.
Yeah, although I, as Alonso mentioned, I drove down to San Diego County on Labor Day weekend, so I saw this movie like 4 months ago, right? October,
Yes.
November, 3.5 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a long time ago. And although what is time really? When it moves backward and forward, it's a fluid concept.
Circle.
So,
and this movie means less than anything else.
oh my God. So I'm going to try to describe Tenet to you as best I can based on my understanding of the plot, which is meager. And I also don't want to spoil anything for you. In its simplest terms, this is Christopher Nolan's James Bond movie. And John David Washington is a Bond type figure. He's a former CIA agent who has been dragged into this seemingly impossible mission involving manipulation of time. Kenneth Branagh is like an old school Bond villain. He's so over the top as this Russian oligarch bad guy. And Elizabeth Debicki is his put upon, miserable, but very elegant wife. And, they make notice of the kind of suits that he wears and his drink order and the fact that he can be elegant but lethal at the same time. So in its absolute simplest sense, this is the James Bond movie that Nolan's kind of been working toward. But because this is a Christopher Nolan movie, he has to mess with time, which is usually an aspect of his directing and his writing that I enjoy. I like the puzzle. I loved Memento. I love Inception. I love Dunkirk. I like, trying to figure it out along the way. I like the challenge of it. But this time it's so complicated. It's so chilly. It's like intentionally alienating. So the best I can tell you about it is that it's something to do with time moving backward and forward. And there are like parallel timelines and versions of yourself. Robert Pattinson and John David Washington spend like reams of dialogue explaining the mythology of this to each other. And it's still super complicated. But in the midst of it, you have, one of Nolan's other signatures, which is these incredible and like really substantive set pieces, giant action sequences, which feel weighty and they feel practical. They don't feel like they have been like trussed up with a lot of like flimsy CGI. They feel like you're absolutely watching what's happening. The thing with the plane driving into the airport, or the best one of all is this fantastic long car chase that's going backward and forward. That's just breathtaking. But even in the middle of all this, because the plot is so convoluted, because it's so needlessly complicated, like I kept getting pulled out of it going, okay, why are we in the car now? Why are we driving the plane into the cargo hold? And then there was stuff with like two different armies of guys and they're wearing color-coded armbands so that they can tell who's forward and who's backward. But like, I still couldn't figure out what they were doing there in the first place. I don't know, you guys. And I feel stupid.
No, I'm an idiot too, because I had the same issues. And here's the thing, I don't like the puzzle so much.
Do you not?
It's one thing in a movie like Dunkirk or Inception where there's other things going on and then there's a puzzle on top of that. The fact that he's playing around with the different passages of time between the plane and the boat and the other boat, or the people on the beach, that's interesting, and it comes together in a cool way. And Inception, you have at least the sketchy outline of a character who has a past and who has regrets and who has a goal in mind. I didn't. First of all, the John David Washington character is literally named protagonist in this movie. That's how much of a cardboard filler he is. So it's like, James Bond is not the richest character in the world, but he's a Hamlet next to this guy.
He has character traits. Yes.
Yes. Like, who is he? Why does he do anything? So hang on a minute. So that, for one thing, already kind of kept me out. And then the actual puzzle is so convoluted, and even just to the mechanics of like, so they're going backwards, but they're still in the same frame. But what does that mean? And how does it much like Memento, a movie that I did not care for, in fact, watched on the screener and turned off halfway through. I turned my brain off about midway through this movie. I was like, all right, I'm not going to get any of this. None of this makes any kind of literal sense. And I'm giving myself a migraine trying to parse it out. So I'm just going to look at it. And looking at it does offer a lot. You're right. Those action set pieces are impressive, but I just couldn't with it.
And then there's a whole sound design problem, which is increasingly a problem in Nolan films. A discussion point that we always enjoy around here.
I had the subtitles. I had the subtitles on, so I didn't care.
Hooray! So it's so funny. I did radio with Katie Walsh earlier today. She was saying that she couldn't get the subtitles thing to work, so she couldn't figure out. They were saying because so often they're like in gas masks or oxygen masks, or they're wearing helmets that have mics in them, so they all sound like Bane.
I kept thinking that Robert Pattinson, that was a role written for Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy was like, I'm good.
No,
Just a hunch.
Yeah, I had the subtitles on. I watched it with my wife the other night, and then people would say stuff, and she turned to me. She's like, "What do you say?" It's like, "It's on the screen."
I still don't get it.
If Nolan had done a straight up Bond movie or a straight up spy movie, this movie would be fucking spectacular, right? And especially because outside of the time travel stuff, the idea that, like, we saw this in, what was the Soderbergh movie about the basketball agent?
Oh,
High Flying Bird.
High Flying Bird, right? Like when he talks about the game above the game, right? And there's this, there's the mission, and then there's like the meta mission. And I thought that was really cool, and that could have been a really interesting take. But the time travel stuff really, like, it finally gets away from it, and really, I think, fucks with the story, right? And first of all, like, the idea that you have to spend, like, I got how the time travel was kind of working. Like, I could figure out, like, I didn't have a problem following, like, who's doing what and when, because it's pretty much the same way Primer works.
Primer makes sense, you guys.
Well, and this one, at least with how it's explaining what it's doing, mostly makes sense, but then it starts to break its own rules, and that's where I think it has a problem. I like John David Washington in this. I like that he's unnamed. I disagree that he's so cardboard, because we get that same type of character with Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood's movies, right? And
he has no name. He's literally the man with no name.
Like, I think that John David Washington brings enough to this, and you get some lines where this is a person, and I didn't have an issue with that. I really liked Elizabeth Debicki in this.
Yes.
I think Kenneth Branagh could hang it up as playing Russian oligarchs. We just saw him do that in the Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit movie.
Oh, right. Which he directed, right?
Yes. The action's great. But there's some of the stuff that they're doing with the action, like at that final big battle scene, that doesn't make sense for the rules that they've set up. And so you can't look at this and say, oh, this is a seamless movie and look at how brilliant. It's like, no, you're just trying to do cool shit on screen. Like, let's not pretend, right? And yeah, it looks cool, but let's not pretend that you're some fucking writing genius, that you're doing things no one else is doing, because yeah, okay, you're playing with stuff going backwards. Okay, fine.
And is there some purpose to this in terms of, like, is there a larger metaphor that he's going after, or is this just a look how cool?
I think it's look how cool. I think he made this movie to entertain himself and didn't care whether audiences actually connected with it, which makes it so ironic that he was so hell bent on the theatrical experience. Because I saw it in the theater, and I didn't get a better experience, I don't think, than you guys did watching it at home.
Yeah,
I would have rather watched it at home with subtitles on.
They helped.
Yeah, Alonso, I saw you post you watched it on your phone.
No, I was kidding.
I watched it on my Apple Watch.
It would serve him right if I did, but I did not. I watched it on my not insubstantial television.
Yeah, I put it on my phone and stood across the room.
But yeah, it just kind of felt like a bit of a wank in terms of, like, I'm going to make this all, 10 layers of complicated. I'm like, that's great, but what am I getting out of this? You know, I didn't. I wasn't entertained. I wasn't blown away. The score is good, by the way. Ludwig Göransson did the score.
Who does the Mandalorian music?
Yes, and Black Panther. But yeah, I just was sort of like, that's it. That was kind of my thing. It felt like too much and not enough, I guess.
It is a lot, and yet nothing. So what is your number, you guys?
I said, what, 6.5?
You said 6.5.
6.5, because I mean, obviously, yes, it's beautifully shot and the action set pieces are impressive, but just at the core of it is an empty puzzle box, I guess. Because I mean, once you solve it, you haven't ascended to another level. You're just like, well, I guess I solved it.
Yeah, my reaction is basically similar to Dom DeLuise as Julius Caesar getting all those jewels from Shecky Green and History of the World. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice. So I give it a 7.
I'm saying 5.5 because again, yeah, technically it's impressive as his films always are, and you know he hasn't skimped at all on those set pieces, and it's edited well. Although I couldn't follow it moved well.
more Elizabeth Debicki and more Elizabeth Debicki movies where she really gets to like lean into her physicality. And
oh my God,
so freaking tall.
Holy shit. The costumes in this, her wardrobe in this is fucking great. Like I love that they put her in those spike heels and they put her in these really slender clothes that accent how tall she is. She's like, I am working with a bunch of short people. It's like she got cast and everybody else is an Oompa Loompa.
Kenneth Branagh is like 5'6".
When she unlocks, uses the driver's side door to unlock the car that she's in from the back seat, I was like, okay, now a scene where you strangle somebody like Lena Olin in Romeo is Bleeding, please.
I turned to my wife. I'm like, that's why you need long legs. That's exactly it. Also, did anyone else notice there are times there's like 4 or 5 lines that John David Washington says in this that's like, oh, he sounds exactly like his father, Denzel.
Yeah,
he has say in Black Klansman also. There are moments where he'll get into a register like, oh, okay, I see I hear the resemblance.
Intonation, yes. So I'm saying 5.5. So our numbers is 6.3. So it is out there.
But then it went down to 3.6, then went back up to 6.3
because we're really actually just starting this review now.
Yes.
So I don't think it's still out there theatrically. Is it still out there theatrically? I don't know, but it's out there for streaming in all the places.
Yeah, you have to buy it. You can either buy it on physical media, which is great, or if you want to watch it streaming, you have to purchase the film. I had to pay $20 to iTunes to buy the movie, which I guess.
Can I get an 8mm transfer?
Am I going to have to watch it again just to amortize the purchase now? I don't know. People keep saying, oh, yeah, you have to watch it several times to really get it. I'm like, but
you have to watch it backwards.
I feel like I already did.
It's out there. So if you guys are curious, I mean, because this is a movie we talked about so much all year long. And if you are a big Nolan fan, you know, if you guys see it, let us know what you think. Tell us how wrong we are and what a masterpiece it is.
Oh, they will.
Yes, we're idiots. I know. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Lots of extra exclusive goodies for our subscribers, including recaps of The Mandalorian, which just had its season finale this morning, as well as Queen's Gambit and other fun stuff. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.